Welcome. Today you're going to be amazed. Seriously, watch until the end. Panic or paradise. Has AI tricked us, or can it still fool us? Can you tell the difference between real and fake in the current AI era? Is this the end of truth as we know it? Find out if we're losing control. As the video goes on, I'll be sharing my thoughts with you, and I believe we'll come to the same conclusion. Before generating anything with artificial intelligence, we need to give instructions or ask questions. That's how it understands what we want. So when we want to generate, for example, a video or an image, we use what are called command prompts, which are nothing more than descriptions we give to the AI, explaining exactly what we want it to do. Usually, we use a text box to write what it should do. It's almost like we're narrating something for it to create. So the content about AI is extensive and goes way beyond just self-driving cars. Let's go. The prompts. Now I tell you, you can start to relax because it's still far from easy for AI to generate something completely error-free. It still can't perfectly follow the laws of physics, nor does it know exactly what it can or can't do. AI doesn't think like we do. It doesn't analyze the world like a human being who would create a logical scene. So creating something extensive and complex without a single mistake is very, very difficult indeed. I'll give an example that happened to me. I created a prompt about an elderly man who was supposed to be riding a bike. At one point he stops, presses a button on the bike, and it starts transforming into a briefcase. After that, he walks away holding that futuristic briefcase. I wrote the prompt first in Portuguese and then translated it to English because, whether we like it or not, English is still the most recognized language by artificial intelligences, as it's considered the universal language. Prompts in 2 languages. English. An elderly man on the street is pressing a button on a futuristic bicycle. The entire bicycle is mid-transformation, completely changing into a compact, high-tech suitcase that he is holding in his hand. The bike is no longer visible, only mechanical parts and light effects remain in the air. The man looks calm, holding the suitcase as he walks away. Realistic style, high detail, sci-fi concept. I created several prompts, but none reached the result I wanted. I tested on 2 well-known AIs, Google Labs and CArt Ultra, and even so, the result was still far from ideal. As you can see in the 5 examples, the AI didn't quite understand what I wanted. Instead of transforming the whole bike into a briefcase, it generated a scene where it looked like the man was just taking a briefcase out of the bike's basket. Worse yet, the briefcase passed right through the basket, as if the laws of physics didn't exist. In other moments, you can see in the image that one piece was going through another. This happens because AI doesn't understand cause and effect. It doesn't think. He pressed the button, so the bike starts to transform. What it does is piece together loose ideas, based on the billions of images and texts it has already seen, and tries to create something visual from that. That's why the golden tip is, break prompts into smaller, simple, and very clear parts. Sometimes the best way is to generate images in sequence, each one with a small step forward in the action, forcing the logic of the transformation you want to show. And even then, folks, don't expect perfection. AI is still learning, but so are we. And understanding these limitations helps us create better and better results. Throughout the video, you'll see some clips I created. Some had good results, others not so much. Even a prompt expert needs a few tries to get a nice result. The fear starts when we realize this evolution is growing rapidly every year. In 2023, everything was still pretty messy. You could clearly tell it wasn't real. By 2024, things didn't change drastically, but the quality improved a lot. Now, in 2025, with the arrival of Google's VO3, it's becoming harder to tell what's real and what's AI-generated. Even so, we can still notice imperfections, especially if we look closely and carefully. But what if a bad actor starts deliberately hiding these flaws? covering them with other images or cutting out the glitched parts? How will we know what's real and what's not? The truth is, it's getting harder and harder to tell the real from the artificial. But difficult doesn't mean impossible, my friends. We know it's not easy. However, there are also people who, on the contrary, seek to analyze thoroughly pixel by pixel, in search of the true information. So it's good that we still always have two sides of the coin. Without that, I agree it would be really complicated. The truth is, it's getting harder and harder to distinguish the real from the artificial. But I believe we still have some control, precisely because it's still imperfect. Now, going a bit deeper into the reflection, imagine we live in an era of intense narrative wars and quotes taken out of context. A simple comma can completely change the meaning of a message. This alone already characterizes a true information war. These are the famous untruthful truths. When you show a small piece of the truth, mix it with a pinch of lie, and voila, the magic is done. A new narrative has been created. The winner is whoever has more influence, or whoever is on the more powerful side. And do you know who suffers the most from this? Those who truly seek the truth. Now imagine the impact of this with the help of a highly capable AI. Yes, the situation can spiral out of control. This is already happening all over the world, and we don't even need to look far to notice. A lie told 1,000 times by someone influential can easily become an absolute truth. And unfortunately, after that, many people still have to waste time explaining how heroes become villains, and villains, heroes. That's why, even today, we need something essential: the pursuit of knowledge and truth. Only they can guide us and ease the difficulties in our journeys. The internet is there for anyone who wants to get informed and find versions closer to reality. It's a very powerful tool. And if you combine that with facts, official data, and strong reasoning, you'll be able to get closer to the truth. But unfortunately, not everyone has the time to verify if information is real or false. Not everyone likes or is able to stop and check sources, and that's understandable. After all of this can really be scary when we stop to think about it, and it can be a repetitive and tiring process. Anyway, evolution is already among us, and it's not going to stop. Everything in life can be used one way or another, whether it's a vehicle, an AI, or even information itself. But personally, I believe that through the pursuit of knowledge, through analysis, data, facts, and research, we still have some control over what we can or cannot believe, or we take the blue pill and accept the world that is given to us, or we take the red one and choose to seek the truth, no matter how difficult it may be. Reference to the movie The Matrix. And you? Do you believe AI came to make our lives better or worse? Share your thoughts in the comments below, join the discussion, subscribe to the channel, and help us grow together with you. We're still a small channel, but with your support we can go very far. Thank you for watching, and have an amazing day, everyone. And please forgive me for any language or translation mistakes. Thank you. End.